From BBC Learning English, this is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines.
In this programme, Iran and US peace deal.
Hello, I'm Pippa.
And I'm Phil.
In this programme, we look at one big news story and the vocabulary in the headlines that will help you understand it.
You can find all the vocabulary and headlines from this episode, as well as a worksheet on our website, bbclearningenglish.com.
So, let's hear more about this story.
The US and Iran have agreed an initial deal to end the war between their two countries.
The agreement is due to be signed by the end of this week.
It's not expected to contain many details, but will be an agreement for 60 days of further negotiations on topics such as Iran's nuclear weapons program and opening the Strait of Hormuz to ships.
During the conflict, over 3,000 people have been killed in Iran alone. Global oil prices have risen dramatically, while the Iranian government has stayed in place.
Let's have our first headline. This is from CNN, an American news channel. What was it all for? US-Iran agreement brings bitter rivals full circle.
That headline again from CNN. What was it all for? US-Iran agreement brings bitter rivals full circle.
This article highlights the similarities between the situation now and how things were in April 2025 when President Trump proposed nuclear negotiations with Iran. We're going to look at the expression full circle.
This is a metaphorical use of circle. Picture a circle. If you travel the full distance around the circle, you end up back where you started.
We use this expression to talk about travelling a long way or doing many things just to end up in the same situation as before. It's often used to express frustration at a lack of progress or surprise at what's happened.
For example, say you had a problem, you spent lots of money fixing your car, it was okay for a bit, but then it started having the same problem. You could say that it's come full circle.
But full circle is not always negative. For example, if you used to study English and now you teach others, you could say that you've come full circle.
The idea in the headline is that after all the military action of recent months, the US and Iran have been brought back to a similar situation to before. They've come full circle.
We've had full circle, come back to a similar situation.
For example, she's come full circle by managing the team she used to play for.
This is Learning English from the News, our podcast about the news headlines. Today, we're talking about the proposed peace deal between the US and Iran.
When talking about what might be in the deal, US President Donald Trump has said that Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. Vice President J.D. Vance has said that Iran will not get a cent of American money.
Meanwhile, Iran has said that as a result of the deal, Israel will have to remove its troops from Lebanon. Israel has insisted that they will not do this.
This leads us to our next headline, and this is from ABC News, which is based in Australia. The spin wars about who wins and loses in the US-Iran ceasefire have begun.
That headline again from ABC, an Australian broadcaster. The spin wars about who wins and loses in the US-Iran ceasefire have begun.
This headline is about the contrasting statements given by Iran and the US. We're interested in the word spin.
This is another metaphor. Spin literally means rotate, but we use it metaphorically to talk about how information is presented.
Think about sports that use a ball. Cricket, football, tennis. If you throw, kick or hit a ball in a way that makes it spin, it doesn't move in a straight line. You make it go to one side.
Politicians, advertisers and news organisations often put a spin on the information they give out. They say it in a way that can influence you to think in a particular way.
If something is given a positive spin, it's reported as if it's good news. If something is given a negative spin, it's reported as if it's bad news.
Now, we've been using it as a noun, but it can also be a verb. The article says that both the US and Iran are trying to spin the news to say that they are the winners from the deal.
We've had spin, present information in a way to influence how people think.
For example, the news website gave a positive spin to the government's latest press release.
This is Learning English from the News from BBC Learning English. We're talking about the peace deal between the US and Iran.
The deal aims to reopen the Strait of Hormuz to shipping. This is an important route for global trade.
However, critics of President Trump have suggested that this deal represents a failure for his strategy.
The US have not been able to change the Iranian government, destroy the Iranian nuclear program, or prevent Iran from launching missile strikes on US allies.
There has also been criticism in Iran, where some have suggested the deal is better for the US than for Iran.
President Trump has said in a Truth Social post that the deal will bring peace and security to the whole region.
Let's have our next headline. This is from Sky News. Iran deal is tacit admission of strategic defeat by Trump administration.
And that headline again from Sky News, Iran deal is tacit admission of strategic defeat by Trump administration.
The writer of this article is saying that Trump's strategy in Iran has not been successful. Remember, this is the opinion of the writer. The word that we're going to learn is tacit.
Something that is tacit is not said directly, but people understand that it's true.
For example, if someone pays a lot of money for a business and then sells it 6 months later for less money, it could be a tacit expression of failure.
It's tacit because they didn't say that they'd failed, but anyone could see that it was a failure because they lost money.
The headline is saying that by signing this deal with the Iranian government, the Trump administration is showing that they have failed to achieve their goals in Iran. It's a tacit admission because the US government probably wouldn't say this explicitly, according to the headline writer.
We can use tacit in more everyday situations. You might have tacit agreements or understandings with the people you live with. Maybe you take it in turns to buy food without ever actually having said that's what you're going to do.
We've had tacit, understood without being said.
For example, everyone at the party had a tacit understanding of what they should wear.
That's it for this episode of Learning English from the News. We'll be back next week with another news story.
To keep up to date with our latest programmes, subscribe to our newsletter.
There's a link in the notes below this programme. Bye for now.
Goodbye.